Hey everybody, I'm Stewart Pidfellow. You can call me Stu. Okay. Anyway, so I just got back from Spain. I was in Spain for 2 weeks. You want to hear about my trip? Well, I'll tell you. So it started off first, I had an 8-hour flight, just to get there. And I got on the plane and got on my seat, and I had a middle seat, which is not good. You don't want that. But the seat to my left and right were both empty. So I said, hot dog, I have a row all to myself. But then I saw this fat married couple waddling down the aisle, okay? And they were so fat, here's how fat they were. Their carry-ons were turkey legs. They were walking down, eating their turkey legs as they waddled down the aisle. And then they came up to my row, where I was, and they stopped. And I just said, Lord Almighty, please keep walking. Please keep walking. And then the fat guy said, he looked at his ticket, he's like, right here, Bertha, these are our seats. And I was like, God damn it. Okay. So they plopped down right next to me. And I was, squished in between them. And I was saying, it wouldn't be so bad if I could have an aisle seat, so I could stick my leg out into the aisle, provided the flight attendant wasn't rolling down with the pretzel cart, So I asked the big woman to my left, I said, excuse me, ma'am, would you like to trade seats with me so you can sit by your husband? And she said, oh, he's not my husband, he's my eating buddy. I said, pardon me? She said, my eating buddy. You know how you might have a drinking buddy who you go to the bar and drink beer with? And I said, well, sure. Everyone has a drinking buddy. And then she said, well, an eating buddy is kind of like that, except instead of going to the bars and drinking beer, we go to buffets and we eat. I said, oh, is that why you're going to Spain? So you can try all the great Spanish buffets? And she said, actually, we just have a connecting flight in Spain. Our final destination is Hungary. And I said, that makes sense. But then I said, I apologize for misunderstanding your relationship with this man, but would you like to trade seats with me so you could sit by your eating buddy? And she said, hell no. I don't want to sit by him. His farts smell like bean burritos. And I said, ah. And then she said, and even if I did want to sit by him, he doesn't want to sit by me because my farts smell like horseradishes. And I said, ah. So anyway, there I was stuck between these two tubbies and their smelly farts for 8 fucking hours. Can you believe it? And it got so bad, the flight attendant even came over to talk to us. And the flight attendant, she was a Chinese woman, okay? And she came over to us and she said, excuse me, we've been getting some complaints from the plane, other passengers saying there's some really bad smells coming from this row. And I don't know which one of you three is doing it, but can you please stop? And I said, it's not me, it's them two. They're farting. Get them in trouble, not me. And then she looked at me and she said, sir, I am a Chinese woman. And that means I know Chinese proverbs. And my favorite Chinese proverb is this: whoever denied it, supplied it. And you are denying it, saying you didn't do it. That means you're the one with these farts that smell like bean burritos dipped in horseradish sauce. So I looked at her and I said, you have a good nose. I wasn't going to argue with her because the last thing I want to do is argue with a Chinese woman. But anyway, then I got to Spain. I think I'm out of time. I'm not going to get to talk about all my stuff I did in Spain. But there's a show on Saturday. Amelia's hosting it. I'm going to be in that show. So if you want to hear more about Spain, come to the show on Saturday night. See you guys. Yay.